Then let's try the actual test.
Support and policy support. Because last time when we were trying to do some privatization, there was the provisional program was put in abeyance in 2014, and this was only lifted in 2019. So even though there was traction to be able to proceed with that process, it may not have been possible because that policy direction was not there. And I think I can see now we have all the commitment that we need so we can be able to move ahead, create the necessary environment to do so. And I think within 12 months we can be able to bring the likes of KPC, KP, whatever other companies that we may agree within government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer. Mr. Hook, I'd like to come to you now. KDC is mandated to play a catalytic role in Kenya's socio-economic development by providing long-term financing and other financial investment and advisory services as well. Is there a case to exempt KDC from the Privatization Act in order to bring quick transactions into the market?
Thank you, Terian, for that question. KDC is a government-owned entity for development finance, so it's one of the strongest and the single DFI. Ideally, we are supposed to support the government in its priority development agenda in terms of mobilizing resources. Once resources are mobilized, we have both the support we give to enterprises, both on equity and debt. In terms of existing investments, we've got
It's the headquarters of good vibes.
So I should just kneel and begin to call on Jesus because I'm a bishop.
You know, Dr. Kingori,
yes,
you sound like a street fighter. Where did you grab it? Unataka noma.
Kingori, let me tell you something. Mimi mtu angenipata saa hiyo nikiwa first year angeangukia bibi mzuri.
You know, they always say smart women, where to catch them is with love.
Kingori, I love how your suit looks. I love you in a suit, I love you in a t-shirt.
As in any example, you actually mean that. Maifungua akili ya msee ama kichwa ya msee ukapata vile watu husema huyu jamaa ana akili.
Tunaweza toa nyama kwa huko nyuma tuweke kwa
kifua. Sisi mtu anakuwa na roho chafu sana.
Na ukidive inahesabiwa?
Yes, ndio ukiwin, udive win si umewin.
Hiyo ndio tizi unafaa upige. Napiganga tu tizi ya 90 meters ya kwanza, alafu nikifika 90 meters na fly. Every Friday on NTV 7:30 p.m.
So biti kidrop mshaweka TV.
Hey, I go by the name Jabidi aka Shoot Satan. Na manze kupata hii song we katika siasikiza tune ni very simple. Una dial *811 *851 # na utakuwa manze umepata hiyo song. Sikiza na Nation, supporting local talent.
I want you to go and leave me in peace. I don't want you here. Because every time I see you, I see how stupid I was.
Lorenza, go to work now. You also have to contribute because I'm not going to ease the financial burden of this household by myself.
Are you serious? You mean to say you're going to charge me?
Of course. What did you think? That the classes were for free?
But
of
then
course
this
not.
is my house!
Well, this is my teacher, Makuka, and we don't give any discounts for backaches.
But you know Leslie won't pay attention to you, okay? We have a relationship that you are just never going to understand.
You know what? No hard feelings. I hope you do great, okay?
It had to be you.
Crystal Rivers Residences along Mombasa Road comprises 3-bedroomed apartments, 3-bedroomed and 4-bedroom townhouses. The only mixed-use development close to the Nairobi Expressway. Easy payment plans available. Terms and conditions apply. Call 0757 620 202.
The Nation e-paper has an exciting new platform that is easy to navigate, gives a premium reading experience, you have access to past editions, and so much more. Scan the QR for a free edition today. Enjoy the truth, anywhere, anytime.
Sound engineer, take it
Building on a success.
Future bright, ndo we check labda tungediga gaza welding.
Ruto Mix on NTV.
This is how we do it, this is how we get down. Niko shua hii utaiona, mbona, sinilize mbona.
Discover the exciting world around the showbiz and celebrity news, the hottest mixes from top DJs, mind-blowing interviews on your favorite entertainment show, Ruto Mix, only on NTV.
For lands, and the secretary being the CS in charge of investments, the incoming Moses Kuria. So it is our ask, Your Excellency, that you could operationalize the National Investment Council. This would definitely be a game changer in terms of dealing with investor concerns in a more efficient, in a more well researched and a timely manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mr. President, would you like to?
Terian, you have to be careful because we might have to share the stipend for moderation at this rate. Yes, I want to confirm to Madam Racher here, that one of the deliverables that I have committed myself to in that investment space is to operationalize the National Investment Council. That you can count on my support. So that we can think through and we can provide leadership in that whole space of investment. There was something else that has escaped my mind I wanted to say, but I will remember. But Moses Kuria, I have taken a lot of time to have this conversation with him. We have it in our manifesto. If you look at our manifesto, we have said we are going to explore alternative sources of raising money for investment and for development. And we have listed the sale of profitable government entities to Kenyans as part of that strategy. So it is not a sterile provision in our manifesto. It is something we intend to deliver on. And I am very happy that even though we were thinking in a different environment, I am very happy to listen to what the players, the actors in the stock exchange are saying. And they are perfectly in tandem with the plan we put in the manifesto.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Dr. America, I would like to come to you now, and pension funds have been mentioned quite a bit this morning. How can NSSF mobilize funds to raise the capital, the national savings rate, in order to increase investment capital and, of course, the investable universe in the capital markets?
Thank you, Terian.
there's a profound opportunity in playing bigger in the NSC through savings. We have a critical mass of Kenyans who are underserved, mostly people who are in the informal sector. And this number is huge, over 15 million Kenyans who are not in any pension scheme. Now, with a quick calculation, backed by the incentive that the government has promised to give, I think with quick math and take, for example, if we only get 2 million of these underserved Kenyans under the ambit of NSSF, and we have the infrastructure already. We have a product called the Haba Haba that allows Kenyans of that cadre to contribute as little as 25 shillings a day, which translates to 500 shillings a month, which plugs into the 6,000 that the government spoke to. Now, if they contribute, if they match that ratio, the 2-to-1 ratio, I think at the end of the year, we'll have 3 times. The amount of money that we collect currently will increase 3-fold. And as you know, NSSF plays a critical role in the NSC. Our footprint is 3%. If you compound that and add the new monies, I think we'll move from the 65 billion that we're investing in the NSC to maybe over 180 billion. And that will translate to enhancing the NSC. And the multiplier effect of that would also be that Kenyans will be able to contribute into the new entrants into the stock market. Currently, we play in around 29 counters in the NSC. I think in some of the good stocks we've reached our internal limits, and we want to encourage that new players come into the market. On the second, okay, thank you. On the second point, it is very important to ensure that the government borrows locally, and through mobilization of savings, both in NSSF and in the greater pension sector, I think will work well to reduce our debt burden in that area. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to rope in the CEO of NIFCA, Oscar Njuguna. NIFCA was set up to be East Africa's leading financial hub, providing an efficient gateway for investors and businesses to the African markets. What are you doing currently to position Kenya as an investment hub, not only for East Africa, because it already is, but for Africa as a whole?
Thank you, Terianne. The Nairobi International Financial Center is a new operating environment that's been set up to do exactly what we're talking about today, which is to position ourselves as not only the regional hub, but really a hub for Africa as a continent. So we've started off by putting in place the framework that is necessary and the building blocks for us to create this environment. We've looked at some of the issues that have been touched on, like the taxation for capital gains tax, and creating a framework for example, carbon trading. So we've put in place some building blocks, and in July, the center was officially opened, and we've had the first firm coming into Kenya, which is the Prudential Africa, the Africa headquarters for Prudential, which is one of the largest global insurers and asset managers. And we're looking at a startup segment as well for smaller firms that are looking to access capital and also use innovative ways of raising finance, like carbon trading. So there's a few firms that are looking at the NIFC as a venue for that. But really, we are looking at catalyzing the innovation across the financial sector, looking at new areas like fintech, but also carbon trading. So we've entered into a partnership with the Nairobi Securities Exchange and Air Carbon Exchange to really work out a way in which we can create the first East African carbon trading exchange that will enable businesses, especially businesses that are here, but also new businesses, to monetize the carbon that exists in the businesses that they're creating. And so we can move towards a trajectory of clean finance. I think in terms of the way we are looking at the future, the ambitions are quite high. The government has really been clear that we need to position ourselves as Africa's hub. And so one of the things that we are looking to doing is putting together a framework for the development of a regional hub within the country. We are looking at a flagship location that I think will serve as a home away from home for all the global investors and businesses that are looking to come into Kenya and use Nairobi as a base to do business across the continent. So we have a lot of ambition, and I think we're working with stakeholders to ensure that we can deliver on that ambition.
All right, thank you so much. Koskei, I'd like to come to you. A lot has been said about the Privatization Act and the Privatization Law. With the benefit of working within the Privatization Commission as Executive Director, what are your thoughts about what can be done? Repeal the Act or amend the Act?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question. I think the issue around the review of the Act has been discussed, but I want to state it this way, that cognizant of the fact that the privatization process as envisaged today in the current Act is a bureaucratic process, we've taken a proactive role as a commission, and my chairman is here, to start that process of review of the Act. So as His Excellency has said that you would want to see either a repeal or an amendment within the next 100 days, I want to commit that that process has started. We've actually started mapping, our stakeholders in terms of engagement, and we are very convinced that within this particular period of time, we'll be able to have this Act amended. But I think more importantly, I would want to maybe bring to the attention of the audience that privatization is a very emotive issue. And what is really very critical to make it successful is stakeholder engagement. And we've done mapping and ensured as a commission that when we conduct this particular process, it is very transparent, it's very open and above board, so that then we are able to get support from the key stakeholders so that this particular process can be able to be moved forward. And I want to stress that if you look at the Act as it is, there are various benefits that come around with it. And one of them is what we call broadening the base. It gives an opportunity to all Kenyans, individuals, institutional investors, to be able to put in their resources and investments in government-owned enterprises, so that then we're able to see ownership by Kenyans. And another, again, is that we are there and we come in to deepen and be able to support capital markets. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Koskei. We're coming to an end now, but I'd like to take some final comments from Chairman and His Excellency. Chairman, there has been a mention of digital access. How does the border gentleman that has been mentioned earlier get to trade on his phone? I know Peter Ndegwa is here, so perhaps we can get a commitment from...
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chavian. I'll just answer that very briefly. Yes, that has been addressed, and I'm glad to report that in the briefing session before we came in here, Peter Ndegwa made a commitment to His Excellency that Safaricom and other stakeholders in the ICT ecosystem would work towards creating more digital access. And I think it is noteworthy that Kenya is the only economy on the planet where 1/3 of our GDP is transacted on the phone. And that is, historical. And I think there's also going to be innovation to ensure greater access. One of the things that we did in the absence of any significant events like listings, which we've been looking for over the years, was a partnership we got into with Safaricom for Bonga points to shares. He also gave us a commitment that will be revitalized. We'll do more marketing so we can actually use that platform much more effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Your Excellency, your final words?
Thank you very much. Let me say a couple of things. I am reliably informed by economists that investment is a function largely of savings, or it should be. If we do not have a savings culture, it becomes very difficult for us to participate meaningfully in investments. And that is why I have been on the case of trying to work with the entities that exist like NSSF and the others on matters to do with promoting the culture of savings. We all seated in this room know that it was decided maybe 30 years ago that you will save 10% of your earnings, but it was put a cap of to the extent of 200 shillings. So up to today, majority of the people on the roll of NSSF are paying 200 shillings. And it is ridiculous. We just got a ruling from the court a week ago that it is wrong for us to increase from 200 shillings. I find that, I don't know really what we are doing. So, and I have had a conversation with the board and management of NSSF, and we have agreed that we need to go and talk to the court again to ask them, surely, do we live in the same country? Because NSSF are telling me progressively it's getting to be more expensive to collect the 200 shillings. We may as well forget about it. Because it's becoming more expensive to provide the infrastructure to collect the 200 shillings. So we must drive that savings agenda from every corner. And I want us to persuade ourselves he said savings must be mandatory. There are no two ways about it. There are no two ways about it. And we will be persuading Parliament. Hopefully we should be able to persuade our courts so that we can all do the right thing and go the journey of saving. That's one thing I really want all of us to work on. Secondly, my two good friends at that extreme end, Nairobi, the financial services, the Nairobi Financial Services, is it?
Nairobi International Financial Center.
Nairobi International Financial Center. It's been there for 5 years. It's not a new organization. The CEO said it's a new organization. It's not. 5 years is not new. And they haven't moved much. You know, let's also be honest. The Privatization Commission, Mr. Kosgei there, is 13 years since we got, the last company was listed. I think it will be fair to ask for a refund of salaries from those two gentlemen. Honestly, I mean, they haven't done the job they were hired to do, you know? And because the job is based on results. If there are no results, it doesn't matter what you have been doing. So really, Mr. Kosgei and Mr. Njuguna, you guys must actually demonstrate to me why you should not refund the salaries we've been paying you. Because we had a vision for the International Financial Center. I have told Mr. Njuguna here that it must be, we must have results. The Privatization Commission, we cannot be lamenting about the law. It is in our power to change the law we don't exist to obey the law. The law exists to serve us. If it is not serving us, we change. If it is not, if we cannot change, we repeal, so that we give ourselves the latitude to do the right thing. So I want to commit on behalf of these two gentlemen and Mr. Omerikwa there, that we will provide the necessary leadership so that all these organizations can deliver on their mandate. And we will provide the necessary leadership. We will put together the legal infrastructure for us to be able to actualize what these organizations were meant to achieve. If again you look at our manifesto, these are instruments, or these are... Finally, I don't want to take over your job, Terian. Finally, to the NSC and to the stakeholders in the entire capital markets ecosystem, I want to commit to you that we have Mr. Njuguna here and Moses Kuria. I have confidence in these gentlemen to deliver on our plan to make sure that we unlock the potential that exists in the NSC. Asante.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seats, and I'd like to hand over now to Mr. Wanjo.
We have another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to the panelists. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you, Terian Chebet. If we may sit, Your Excellency, we may be seated. If it pleases Your Excellency, it is now my pleasure and privilege to invite Bwana Kiprono Kitone, to invite His Excellency the Deputy President, to invite Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MC. Your Excellency, just, as we had to cut my remarks briefly because of the time that we had to open the market. But let me just say very briefly that one of the things that I didn't mention earlier on is that we listed the first green bond. And I can see Mr. Kirade in the house. You can please be standing. We had Aecon green bond cross-listed with London, and he's been very successful in that initiative. Looking around the room, Your Excellency, I think there are many brides in the house. And for us as the exchange, as a groom, we will be asking you to be our chief negotiator, to use the words of Moses Kuria. Looking around the room, Vimal has been mentioned many times. I see people like Richard Ngatia, I see people like Joshua Chepkwony, I see people like Dr. Mishra, I see Joachim Westerveld, I see James Degwa, I see many leading investors in this country. And Your Excellency, we will be asking that you help us to speak with these people, wafungue roho, ili mali tulete kwa soko la hisa, ili wananchi wapate nafasi ya pia kuwa wawekezaji. So Your Excellency, our two requests will only be that we have more state-owned and owned enterprise listings, and Your Excellency, we as a private sector, we as a Nairobi Securities Exchange, we commit, we will do our part. It is now my singular, and with the other historical thing, apart from Your Excellencies being here, is I cannot remember the last time we've had a high-level function as this on time. I once visited Japan, and we were told, if you're asked to attend a function at 9, be there at 9:15. We expected Your Excellency at 9:15, you were here at 8:30. So we were all running around the lift. We almost broke our legs. But if this is the way Kenya is going to go, there's two things that business people like. One is timekeeping, and two is decisiveness. We like a yes or a no answer. And by the way, in business, a no answer is as good as a yes, because you save time. You can go and do something else if you're told no. So those are the two things we are seeing clearly in your administration, and we are very excited as a private sector. It is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of our Republic of Kenya, old friend of mine. Congratulations, sir, Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua.
Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, all the players in the capital market, good morning. Mine is very brief, Your Excellency. First and foremost is to underscore that we were voted into office overwhelmingly by the people of Kenya on the platform of economic transformation. In that journey, in that quest, the capital markets industry is our very serious partner. And the presence of His Excellency the President this morning here underscores our serious commitment to partner with you for the economic transformation of this great republic and eventually to restore the dignity of the Kenyan people by improving the quality of lives. I want to confirm to you that we have very firm and strict instructions from the President to do whatever it takes to do away with the bureaucracy and red tape to facilitate and support investment. That you have a word, and we shall do what needs to be done, and the Investments Commission and National Assembly, in the review of that law, will roll out a very robust, extensive public participation so that the players can give their input so that we get the right law into place. Finally, let me also confirm to you that the problems that be developed in this country has been a problem of leadership. Everything starts and ends with the leadership. Once you have the right leader in place to give leadership and direction, everything gets very easily done. I want to confirm from where I sit and my continuous engagement on a daily basis with our president. He's an easy president, he's an easy leader. He'll be available to you on short notice to discuss on what we need to do to improve investment and overall our economy. Our president has given a policy direction that his style of governance is one that is based on continuous engagement. And he is very clear that he doesn't know everything, and he's quite happy to be corrected and to be given new thinking to enrich his own thinking to be able to make the right decisions for this great country. With those few remarks, I ask you to be upstanding and put your hearts together. We welcome the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Thank you very much, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President, the Chairman of Capital Markets Authority, the Chairman of Nairobi Stock Exchange, captains and leaders of industry, wananchi watukufu, hamjambo. Our government is committed to delivering significant, rapid, inclusive, and sustainable socio-economic transformation by undertaking impactful interventions in 5 key pillars of our development agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a nation to feed. We have millions of Kenyan youth to employ. And we have to make affordable housing a reality in Kenya. We need a healthy nation of 50 million strong, happy citizens in good health. It is time for Kenyans to enjoy universal health coverage that invests in promotive and preventive interventions besides curative treatment. Our envisaged national transformation will be delivered on the back of a robust and empowered micro, small, and medium enterprise-sized enterprises sector, and it is also time to invest in a digital superhighway to facilitate young Kenyans to plug more firmly and deeply into the global digital economy, thereby enabling them create jobs, generate incomes on an unprecedented scale. In implementation efforts towards these priorities are the game changers of our socio-economic system that will unleash tremendous potential positive change while creating millions of jobs and dramatically increasing earnings and wealth. This grand assignment we have committed to requires the investment of immense amounts of resources at a time when we have tremendous challenges connected with the state of our public finances. A lot of our revenue is committed to servicing our financial obligations, and financing development is becoming even more challenging in our country. Yet, we cannot defer the possibilities that will be unlocked through investment in critical enablers of rapid transformation, or postpone the promise of sustainable development to await debt repayment. As part of the strategic configuration of our way forward, my administration intends to not only focus on strengthening and deepening our capital markets to become an alternative source of development capital, but also an alternative form of investment to most Kenyans. This is why we have established for the first time a State Department for Investment Promotion under a principal secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. To affirm this resolve, my administration will revitalize the capital markets by embarking on privatization of state-owned enterprises, where divestiture is overdue and strategic, as well as the introduction of such innovative products as a domestic dollar-denominated bond. I have said and made a commitment, and I have asked the ministry concerned that between 5 and 10 public enterprises that are mature should be listed in the next 12 months. I expect that the private sector will work with the capital markets so that we can also have companies from the private sector listing in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. My government is prepared to work with companies that want to list in the stock exchange to overcome some of the challenges that you may have that are denying you the opportunity to list in the stock exchange. In order for us to do this, the government is embarking on review of the existing privatization law with a view to repealing it or replacing it with a legal and less inhibiting and more facilitative policy framework to steward rapid privatization processes. Even as we seek to strengthen and deepen the capital markets, we are cognizant of the need to protect and promote the small investors. I have instructed the Capital Markets Authority and other relevant departments to work on developing framework that places investor protection, including the enhancement of the Investor Compensation Fund, investor education, and strict enforcement of compliance by market intermediaries as the center of a re-energized capital markets. We must remember that the golden years of our capital market activities were inaugurated by Safaricom initial public offer in 2008, which generated intense public interest, attracting millions of small investors and bringing Mama Mboga to the security exchange. The strong economic performance of those years and the affordability and availability of credit were dividends of this strong public confidence and robust participation in our capital markets. As you will recall, the IPO was consequently oversubscribed by 532%. It is time to bring back those times, and today, as I ring the bell, I shall be inviting all Kenyans, the Hustler Nation, into the Nairobi Securities Exchange and take the Nairobi Securities Exchange to all Kenyans. I remember, and I want to ask the leadership of CDSC, is it? When I asked at that point in time how we can bring small investors, how we can bring ordinary Kenyans to buy into our bonds, we agreed on M-Kopa, but I'm told that M-Akiba. But it did only, there was only one bond list at that time, and it ended there. Mr. Njuguna, you are you're a big player. You understand how this should work. I am looking forward to the day when our bonds will be shared between the big players and the small players in equal measure. I want to ask, and I must congratulate our banks. They have stood with us. Whenever we went to the market with our bonds, they have supported us. They've always been there. But I also want to ask that we bring the other Kenyans into that space. We all agree it's a profitable space. It's not always you get interest of 10%, 12% guaranteed by government. You're doing well. I mean, the banks are doing well. Let's be honest. But the small people are not doing well. You know, they are getting 2%, 1% for the money they save in our banks. I think it's only fair that we begin the journey to even our returns. Let us even the returns. Because bottom up is about not leaving anyone behind. Let's move together. It's the best way to grow the economy. Inequality breeds suspicion. The more we create an unequal society, the dangerous it becomes. We should proactively, deliberately work together towards minimizing and reducing inequalities in our society by making sure that we democratize opportunities for wealth creation. Let me repeat it again. I am saying we must work deliberately to equalize opportunities and democratize opportunities for wealth acquisition by making sure that we democratize opportunities for each and every one of us to get a slice of the cake. Additionally, my administration has set out its commitment to promote the public-private partnership framework as yet another preferred mode of development financing, which we intend to rely on in mobilizing necessary funding for investment in diverse sectors, including roads, housing, water, energy, ICT, and agriculture. This renewed commitment to the growth of capital markets, inbuilt with well-developed modalities that provide clear and effective exit mechanisms for our public-private partnership investors should serve as the highest assurance from my administration to investors that their investments are safe and that their investment decisions in Kenya are made in a predictable, coherent, and stable environment. I want to persuade you that the growth of the capital market has to be a shared agenda of my government and the private sector. There is need for both sectors to work together in good faith, develop trust, and make reciprocal contribution to its success. It is my hope and desire that the private sector will reciprocate the government efforts to accelerate privatization and develop our capital markets by offering more privately owned enterprises for listing at the Nairobi Securities Exchange as part of their contribution. And on this note, I want to congratulate Bio for beginning the journey to list in the stock exchange, and also congratulate Credit Bank. I am told that they too, Madam Korir, they too have gotten the necessary approvals to list in the stock exchange. That is a positive signal for all of us, including those of us in the public sector. The envisioned growth of the capital markets will be sustainable through processes that place due consideration to environmental protection and climate change mitigation. I challenge capital markets players to devise with innovative solutions and incentives that reward best practices based on environment, social, and governance principles. I have in mind, for example, such innovations as the issuance of green bonds and the establishment of a secondary market for our carbon credits. Finally, we expect all these measures to culminate in the significant promotion of Kenya's position in the world map of money centers alongside Johannesburg, Frankfurt, London, New York, Shanghai, Tokyo, and Dubai. 5 years ago, Kenya took its initial significant step towards this ambition of enacting the legislation to set up the Nairobi International Financial Center as an authority, as the basis for the formulation of the necessary incentive schemes to attract leading global financial players. We are now taking another step by setting up the proposed Nairobi Financial District. We are taking another step in that journey. We envision the district to be the world's newest and most exciting financial center, as well as the home of choice to the world's leading financial institutions, and envisage it establishing itself firmly as the best place to work and live. This is no idle dream. Nairobi is already a leading destination for international civil servants who work for various multilateral institutions. I call upon the private sector to support and participate in the Nairobi Financial District, which will be set up as the gold standard for our public-private partnership program. We have a plan to transform Kenya. We have the commitment and the political goodwill to do what it takes to actualize it. We have a thriving private sector and a capital market that holds great promise. This moment is pregnant with wonderful possibilities, and we must deliver them together. We stand on the cusp of an opportunity to renew the relationship between Kenyans of all walks of life with the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and to reaffirm the place of the capital markets in igniting and sustaining unprecedented national development and socio-economic transformation. Today, therefore, I'm delighted to ring this bell and to usher in a new era of inclusive transformation possibilities, spanning the public, and the private sector, involving all from the bottom up. And let me assure my good brother Kili that I know the contribution of the pension ecosystem in the development of our country. I know what our pension system is doing in mobilizing savings. I am pleased to hear what you can do. You have said we should have given you an opportunity to build the expressway and to build the SGR using local resources. That is exciting. I want to tell you, those two are already done, but there is more we can do. We are discussing the construction of the dual carriageway to Mau Summit with investors. I will welcome you to put in a proposal and your organizations. And it would really be exciting if we can deliver some of the huge infrastructure using our own resources, structured and mobilized in the correct manner, using the correct instruments. Because of what you have said, you have an appointment in my good office with your various organizations on Thursday afternoon at 2:30. Because that conversation you want us to have, I have also been looking forward to it. So we will pick up from where we have left today, and I hope you mobilize your sector to come and have a conversation with us. We will continue to have this engagement. Nobody has the monopoly of all knowledge, but together we can build a genius economy if we work together. So I am very confident that working together with respect and making sure that we are courteous to one another, we can be able to, and we do not have a choice. Failure, good people, is not an option. This is our country. Collectively, we must work at it and make sure that we all succeed. As my good deputy has said, we are prepared to listen. We want to give way. If we have a good idea and you have a better idea, we will agree to give way our good idea for your better idea, because that's the only way we can take Kenya forward. So I want to say thank you very much. I am really proud to be part of this event that hopefully, as I have said earlier, will unlock the potential that exists in Kenya and in Kenyans, and make sure that nobody is left behind. Asanteni sana.
Your Excellency, briefly to remain on stage very briefly, Your Excellency, sir, and request the chairperson and the CEO to come up the stage and present a gift to His Excellency the President as a memento for this great occasion today. The rest of us, we may be seated kindly as the chairperson, on behalf of NSC, presents a gift to His Excellency. Your Excellency, the gift that is being presented to you now is the raging bull. You know that the market has, in its ebbs and flows, has a bull and a bear. So the bear signifies a declining market, and a bull signifies a rising market. So the memento we are presenting to you is the bull and the bell that you have just rung. Thank you, Your Excellency.
After this, I will request all of us to remain seated as His Excellency the President takes his leave, and Your Excellency will plead for 2 photographs outside there, one with the Board of Management, NSC, and the second one, yes. And after that, we'll have the national anthem after the photo session. Your Excellency, after the board tukimbie kidogo, wale wengine tubaki kidogo dakika chache so that we finalize with that small bit.